Welcome back to the Olive Grove, where we like to dig into all sorts of fascinating topics. Today we're diving into Isaiah 62. It's a chapter that really reveals God's heart for Jerusalem, and it offers a glimpse into a future that's just bursting with hope.
It's really interesting, because the chapter opens with this picture of Jerusalem that's pretty bleak, almost abandoned. But then all of a sudden there's this dramatic shift. Yeah, a promise of just radical transformation.
Yeah, it's almost like watching a city go from like forgotten to famous practically overnight. What really struck me was that blazing torch imagery right in the first couple of verses. It's not just about being noticed. It's about becoming like this radiant beacon. You just can't ignore it.
That is a great observation. The prophet Isaiah, he uses such vivid language to emphasize how completely reversed Jerusalem's fate is. Like it goes from being shrouded in darkness to radiating God's glory for all to see. And it's not even just about outward appearances. We also see this beautiful concept of a new name being bestowed upon the city.
It's like stepping into a whole new identity, right?
Yeah.
Shedding that baggage of the past and embracing a future that's defined by God's favor. I'm curious, though, what significance does a name change even have in this context?
Well, you see, in the ancient world, names held immense power. They weren't just labels. They reflected a person's character, their destiny, even their relationship with the divine. So when God declares that he will give Jerusalem a new name, it signifies a profound change, like a total restoration of identity and a declaration of his unwavering love for his people.
It's almost like God is saying, this is who you truly are, beloved. This is your new beginning.
Mm.
And this new identity, it seems like it's not just about a name. It seems deeply intertwined with this idea of a transformed relationship, like a covenant even.
You're absolutely right. And that leads us to, I think, one of the most striking metaphors in the entire chapter, the comparison of God's relationship with Israel to a marriage.
Yeah, the marriage metaphor is pretty striking.
Yeah.
What specific aspects of marriage does the prophet Isaiah even seem to be highlighting here, it seems like, to go way beyond just a simple comparison?
Well, Isaiah seems to be emphasizing the covenant aspect of marriage, this concept that's deeply rooted in the Old Testament. This covenant isn't just some flimsy contract. It's a profound, soul-binding commitment between two parties. And in this case, it signifies God's unwavering dedication to his people and his promise to protect and cherish them just as a bridegroom cherishes his bride.
That's a powerful image, especially when you think about the historical context. Jerusalem had experienced so much hardship, so much betrayal, yet here's God offering them this picture of unwavering love, this covenant that can't be broken.
Exactly. And this covenant relationship, it's not just one-sided, While God is promising his steadfast love and protection, there's also a call for Israel to respond, to actively participate in this relationship.
And that call to action, it's perfectly illustrated in those verses about the watchmen on the walls, right? They're not just passively observing, they're constantly praying, interceding for the city, almost like their prayers are the building blocks for this transformation.
That's such a key point.
Yeah.
Isaiah really emphasizes how important persistent prayer is. Partnering with God and bringing about his promises. It's this beautiful image of co-creation. Of God working alongside his people to fulfill his divine plan.
Yeah, really challenges that notion of just sitting back and waiting for God to do everything, doesn't it? It's more like we're invited to actively participate, to join in this grand story of redemption.
And when we talk about redemption, the rewards of this restored relationship, they're incredible. Isaiah paints this picture of abundance, overflowing blessings. It's a stark contrast to the scarcity and hardship they'd faced before.
It's almost like a taste of heaven on earth, this vision of a city where God's presence is just so tangible, so life-giving. It makes me wonder, what does this abundance even look like practically? Is it just material wealth? Or is there something deeper being conveyed here?
I think it's multifaceted. Yeah, there's the imagery of bountiful harvests, of feasting in the courtyards of the sanctuary, but it goes beyond just material possessions. It's about experiencing true peace, genuine security, a freedom from oppression that just permeates every aspect of life.
It's that sense of wholeness, of flourishing that comes from being in right relationship with God, isn't it?
Exactly.
And it reminds me of something we often talk about here at the Olive Grove, the importance of community and supporting one another on our spiritual journeys.
Now returning to our deep dive into Isaiah 62, we've explored the transformation, the call to action, the rewards of faithfulness, but there's one more crucial element that we just can't overlook, the arrival of the Messiah.
Yes. Verses 10-12, they seem to shift the focus. building this like anticipation for someone who's going to usher in this new era, this kingdom where God's presence is fully realized. The imagery is so vivid, clearing a path, raising a banner. It feels almost like a victory procession.
It's a powerful image of preparation, of making way for the one who will bring ultimate redemption. And it's not even just about physical arrival. It's about preparing our hearts, our minds, our communities to receive the Messiah and embrace the transformation he brings.
And with his arrival comes, like, a new identity for Israel. The holy people, the redeemed of the Lord. It's a title that speaks volumes, doesn't it? It's not just about being chosen. It's about being set apart, purified, made worthy through the Messiah's sacrifice.
It's about being claimed by God in a radical way, no longer defined by their past mistakes or the hardships they've endured. It's a new beginning, a fresh start, a complete transformation that's made possible through the Messiah's redeeming power.
This idea of being like redeemed, it really resonates with me. Like it implies a journey.
Yeah.
This process of being set free from something that held us captive. What does this redemption even look like for like the people of Jerusalem, practically speaking?
That's a question that has fascinated theologians for centuries. While Isaiah 62, it doesn't lay out a step-by-step guide, it does offer these beautiful glimpses into what redeemed life actually looks like. Remember those verses about no longer giving their grain to their enemies, about feasting and celebrating in the courtyards of the sanctuary. They paint a picture of a life where God's provision is just abundant and where joy just permeates even the everyday routines.
So it's more than just a change in status. It's a transformation that touches every aspect of life, their relationship with God, with each other, even with the land itself.
Exactly. The name Hephzibah, which means my delight is in her, it speaks to the restoration of God's affection for Jerusalem. It's no longer a city abandoned and despised, but a place where God's presence just dwells and his love overflows.
This makes me think about how personal this transformation really is. It's not just about a city being rebuilt. It's about individual hearts being restored to a right relationship with God.
Absolutely. And that's what makes Isaiah 62 so relevant for us even today. Even though it was written centuries ago, the message transcends time and culture. It speaks to that deep longing inside each of us for redemption, for wholeness, for a life where we can truly experience God's delight and favor.
It's like we're all on this journey towards becoming Hephzibah, a people in whom God delights. And just like those watchmen on the walls, we have a role to play, both in our own lives and in the lives of those around us. I love that image. We're not just passive recipients of God's grace. We're active participants in this grand story of redemption. Through our prayers, our actions, our faithfulness, we can partner with God in making his vision of a redeemed world a reality.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into Isaiah 62, what's the one key takeaway you hope our listeners will carry with them?
I think it's this. No matter how far we've strayed, no matter how broken or abandoned we might feel, God's desire is to redeem us, to restore us, to make us his Hephzibah, the people in whom he delights. And this transformation isn't just some future hope. It's a present reality that we can experience as we surrender to his love and allow him to work in our lives.
That's a beautiful thought to end on, a message of hope, transformation, and unwavering love. Thank you for joining us on this journey through Isaiah 62. We hope it sparked a desire in you to delve deeper into God's word and discover all the treasures he has hidden there for you. And if you're looking for a community to support you on that journey, we encourage you to check out My Christian Space. You can find a link in the show notes, along with some additional resources for studying Isaiah 62.
And don't forget to subscribe to the Olive Grove podcast on YouTube and visit the My Christian Space website for early access to episodes. We'll be back next time with another fascinating topic, ready to dig into the soil of God's Word and uncover all the hidden truths waiting to be discovered. Until then, grace and peace to you.